when you go to the promotions tab in your Gmail inbox, you're not lost. You're not like, what am I doing here? Why did I click on this? You're actually looking for stuff. You're looking for webinar offers, discounts on socks, whatever you want. 50% of those people are going in there every day looking for the thing. They're in that mall. So you don't want to get out of it. And we have seen no performance drop for emails that go in the promotions tab versus those that don't. So everyone's got to chill.
Welcome to the MarTech Podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Shapiro, and today we're going to discuss email marketing tactics. Joining me today is Jay Schwedelson, who is the founder of subjectline.com, which is a free leading subject line rating tool that has tested over 15 million subject lines to help organizations enhance their email marketing. Their credibility stems from being ranked as one of the top 1% websites in the world. And Jay is also the host of Do This, Not That, which is a top 10 marketing podcast in the United States. And today, Jay and I are going to answer the question, how can you increase your email response rates? All right, here's my conversation with Jay Schwedelson, the founder and CEO of subjectline.com. Jay, welcome to the MarTech Podcast.
I'm excited to be here. I'm a longtime listener, so this is going to be a lot of fun.
What took so long, man?
I'm lazy. I don't know, but here we are. We made it happen.
You do podcasts, I do podcasts. You write emails, I write emails.
We're basically family.
Like,
we're basically related at this point.
Hey, come on over. You do Christmas, you do Hanukkah. What's your thing? We do both.
I do everything. I will celebrate any holiday that involves food and me not working, because why not?
Okay, if you like fried potatoes, come over to my house. They tend to be around every holiday. We'll do some of that. Yeah. All right, let's start off the top here. Look, email marketing.
Yeah.
What could be sexier?
It is the sexiest thing. I'll tell you why. All right, here's my argument as to why email marketing is very sexy. There's no other marketing channel on planet Earth that for relatively no money, basically no money, okay, that you can communicate with your entire audience. All right, you want to go and run a TV ad and spend a boatload of money? That's expensive. You won't reach your audience. You want to run a paid social campaign or an organic social campaign? You'll reach nobody in your network. It will cost you a lot of money. Search is a lot of money. Email is the only game in town to reach your entire audience whenever you want to reach them for no money. So that's why it is sexy.
I want to fight you. We rely a lot on email marketing, and the truth is, I totally quit it all this year. We did cold email for years and years. We started targeting people that were sponsoring MarTech conferences and asked them to be on the MarTech podcast as a sponsor. And we would just always cold emails flying around. Hey, you want to start a podcast? We got a production company. Let's change our subject. The whole deal. This year, I quit. I'm done. I don't do cold emails anymore. I got tired of it. And the truth is, you'll disagree with me, hopefully. I don't think it works anymore. So talk to me about the landscape of email marketing. I am on one end saying, hey, look, we all got to find other ways to reach our target market. I'm assuming you're going to disagree with me. Give me the state of the state.
So cold email, if that is your primary use of email, then that's not going to work. The world of cold email really is dead because you can't just go and keep pounding your database saying, let's have a call. You should buy this from me. You should check this out. You should download this from me. That doesn't work. Okay. Now, what does work is knowing the littlest things that get people to open up emails, to engage with emails, and to really leverage your marketing emails, your newsletter emails in a really effective way that is crushing it. And then once in a while, you sprinkle in that cold email, and that recipient has become so attuned, so accustomed to liking your content, thinking of you as a thought leader, loving your brand, that when you sprinkle in that cold email, it actually works. But if your go-to-market is just pound away with cold emails, that is a losing path entirely.
But isn't everything going into the spam filter now? Didn't Google make this crazy? Like you can only send a certain amount of emails, and the prerequisites for showing up actually in somebody's inbox have totally changed over the last year. What's going on with the spam filters?
So that's really a great topic. A few things. Yes, Google changed the rules a little bit. And if you send out garbage and you get a lot of spam complaints, people saying this is spam, then they're going to dump the overwhelming majority of your stuff into the junk folder, into the spam folder, and that's a problem. Okay. But here's the game. The weirdest thing about email now, whether you're a business marketer or a consumer marketer, the way that you stay in the inbox, as opposed to going to the junk folder or spam folder, you actually have to send out a lot of email. This is the irony. People think, oh, email's not working for us. We're sending out too much, and they start sending out less. That's horrible math, and that's not the way it works. People think that the reason you go to the junk folder or spam folder might be because you put the word free in your subject line, or use an emoji or an exclamation mark in your subject line, or something ridiculous like that. That is information from 10 to 15 years ago. You don't go to the junk or spam folder for the content and the words and the symbols that you're writing. You go to the junk or spam folder if the percentage of people that you're sending email to, if there's not a high enough number of people opening and clicking and interacting with your email. You actually need a lot of engagement. And that is the way that all the receiving email infrastructures, whether it's Outlook or Gmail or Comcast or whatever, that's how they know if you are a sender that they should keep in the inbox. So the irony of email is that you need to send out at least once a week, if not more, to generate enough opens and clicks to actually stay in the inbox. But the game is you need to send out relevant stuff. The problem is it's frequency and relevancy. They're married together. You can't just send out a lot and it be garbage. So it's got to be stuff that is valuable to the person receiving it. They like getting it. They're interacting with it. It's not just these cold solicitations that wind up going to the junk folder and it's total garbage.
Stop me if you've heard this one. Your email database is your company's most valuable asset.
Yes, I say that all the time.
Sound familiar? I actually think I'm quoting you. Thanks for the great podcast. I listen to it all the time.
I appreciate it.
If you have access to people's email address, if you're collecting them in a logical way, then you've got a valuable asset that you can continue to market to people, but you have the relevance struggle.
Yes.
If you don't have a large enough email inbox, email doesn't seem to be a very relevant channel. So we're talking to the VPs of marketing here who are like, all right, how do I know what my email relevance is, what the cadence is? Should I be telling my team send more, send less? Should I be focusing on collection? Should I be focusing on relevance? Should I be focusing on harvesting email? Let's take a B2B example. I'm a mid-market B2B company. Yeah. I've got thousands of people that are on my email list. They've been there forever. Who knows if they're still at that company or not? Yeah. Am I sending more emails? Am I sending less? What am I doing?
It's not necessarily am I sending more or less. It's what am I sending? Okay. And you need to be sending stuff so let's back up. I believe that attribution in general in marketing is garbage. Okay. It's no longer, oh, I did this search ad. I got this customer from that search ad, or I did this social post. I got this customer from that social post, or I sent this email and I got this customer, right? Marketing is surround sound, that you need to be in front of people and they need to think positively about your brand and about whatever it is you're sending out. So when they are in market for your thing, okay, they think of you first. And that's email. What I mean by that is what you are sending out. If you're that mid-market B2B company, you need to have a newsletter. And your newsletter can't be this piece of garbage wallpaper that you check a box that, we got out our newsletter. Now we got to get out another one next week, which is what everybody does.
Hang on.
Yeah.
But nobody gives a shit about my newsletter.
That's the problem. They should. And here's the thing. If you have an amazing subject line, the subject line said 71% of people are now doing this for CFOs or whatever, and that's your market. And the person's going to open up, oh my God, what is it? And then you open up and the headline is, these 3 new things are the game changers for CFOs. And you have 3 articles linking to the most important things that CFOs need to know this week. And nowhere in there are you saying, and please sign up for our webinar this week, and please download this other piece of crap that we're promoting this week. No, all you're doing is giving value to those people that you are sending that out to. These are the 3 most important things you need to know this week. All of a sudden, every time you hit send on that newsletter, all those people in your database are going to be like, wow, this is really valuable. Right. And now they get into the routine. Wow, this is really valuable. And then you sprinkle in, and by the way, another email comes in that says, we're doing this thing. You got to check it out. You got to download this guide, check out this webinar. And it's the ability to send out stuff that's not for you, but is for them, with really exciting subject lines, really exciting headlines, short content blocks, get them engaged, and then you get to hit them up. Everyone just follows each other. Like when you get a webinar invitation, okay, without me, who cares what companies? You know exactly what it looks like. It's going to have like 2 little circles of random people's heads. You don't know who the hell they are. The VP of whatever company you've never heard of, with some boring button that says register, a content block that no one's reading with 20 lines of text, and no one's going to react to it. We're all following each other like idiots. You just need to step out and do something a little bit different, and that's how you win.
Can I ask you a
I
personal
get very
question?
excited about this
I
topic.
can tell. I love it. Hey, one podcaster to another. You're
I
doing
can't
great.
take
Keeping
it.
the energy.
I can't
Can I
take
ask you a personal question?
Yes, please.
How many email newsletters do you actually read?
Okay, I'm a psycho. Okay, so that is my problem. I read a lot. So I probably read on average about 10 a day that I skim. Some of them are like consumer oriented, like the Skim or the Hustle or Morning Brew and things like that. And then I get into some nerdy AI ones, email ones, whatever. But I know which ones I read and which ones I don't read. I skip over a lot of garbage ones. So yeah, there is your newsletter is table stakes. You need to have a newsletter, and then you need to also be pumping out other thought leadership along the way.
Your personality is dictated by the five people that you're closest to, or some, I don't know, making up stats, but we've all heard some version of that. Like you're a combination of the closest people to you, five, six, how many ever it is. I feel like there's a similar stat with that with email newsletters, right? Where it's like you're the culmination of the 3 to 5 email newsletters you actually read. That's the stuff that you spit back out of the world, is when you're sitting there with your morning coffee,
Yeah.
maybe before your kids come in and try to wake you up. I got the morning brew. I've got my AI newsletter. I've got some sports stuff. What else is there? But I'm not doing a lot of B2B marketing newsletters. Do people actually read these? That's to me the big question. We all need this newsletter, and you need to have a newsletter, and you need to stay relevant and present the relevant thing. But who the hell reads these things?
That's a good question. But the biggest trend, I think, in newsletters and email newsletters in general is not to have the newsletter actually come from the brand. What everybody is really doing, which you should be doing, is having, call it an internal celebrity. Okay, not a real celebrity. Not everyone's going to be Gary Vee or Seth Godin or somebody that everybody knows, but an internal celebrity where you build up this persona around somebody in your company. All right. And the newsletter should not come from salesforce.com. It should not come from acme.com. That's epically boring. Nobody's really going to open that. Nobody cares because it doesn't feel like you're connecting with anybody. So the biggest trend is these newsletters. Doesn't matter if you're an enterprise company or a tiny little company, whatever, but it's actually coming from a human. And it could either be the person's name or it could be Jay from Acme. And literally, you're right, JAYFROM, Acme in that from name, right? And then you open it up and it's written in this human tone as opposed to it being written in, oh, there's no person behind this thing. And that's what's really working now because you feel more connected to it. So, yeah, that actually works really well because people are able to read it and feel like it's not just something in the ether out there that I can't connect with. And if you're not doing that, I think you're leaving a massive tool on the table from an engagement standpoint.
So what I'm hearing from you is the marketing strategy here is your newsletter is not your company newsletter. It's a newsletter from an influencer within your organization.
100%. And don't be nervous. That person leaves. Everyone's, I can't do that because the VP or whatever that was coming from, when they leave, that leaves with them. No, nobody cares. You change it from Bill from Acme to Susie from Acme, and you're like, hey, now it's Susie and blah, 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 blah. And everyone stays excited. Doesn't matter.
It's funny, I was going to ask you, who's the influencer? Is it your head of marketing? Is it your CEO? Is it a marketing manager who's responsible for the newsletter? Who's the best personal brand within an organization to use?
But it really also depends on who you're marketing to and what people believe. Okay. So if you are Charles Schwab, okay, no one actually believes that if they get a newsletter from the CEO of Charles Schwab, that CEO has anything to do with that newsletter. It's just too big of an organization. It feels ridiculous. Okay. It feels disconnected. Whereas if it's the VP of whatever, you're like, oh, okay, this person's probably really involved with the newsletter. Now, if you're a small company or a 10-person company, it can't be your director of operations because that's really weird. Okay, why do you even have a director of operations if you're a 10-person company? It should come from your CEO or founder or something like that. Or if you have a really dynamic founder, like for example, the founder of Airbnb, he does a lot of stuff from himself, right? Everything is from him. He's a celebrity unto himself. If you have somebody like that in your org, absolutely. Or if you're like an association, right? A lot of times the executive director, everybody knows that person, the members know that person. You really have to think about who in your org makes the most sense.
So all you do is you get some sort of an influencer within your organization, you give them a chat GPT prompt, you have them look for a couple links, they summarize it, and now you got a newsletter. Is it that simple?
It's that simple if you want to have a half-baked one. It'd be nice if you added some personality to it, some humanity to it, some real thought to it. Like my own newsletter, okay? We send out this newsletter, comes from me. It's got marketing tips. And at the end, we added a section called Since You Didn't Ask. And I literally have stuff in there. What I'm watching The Real Housewives of New York. I just finished Dune 2. And I don't like double dippers that when I go to a party at somebody's house, it's disgusting. And we put that in every newsletter and we talk about, and I always have that section. And amazingly, we get more of a reaction to that section than anything else we write about the marketing tips. So inserting humanity into whatever you're doing is the world now, because AI has created this tidal wave of absolute garbage.
I can't let it go. If you dip the carrot into the hummus and you take a bite and you flip the carrot over and you dip the second half of the carrot that hasn't touched, but not the part that you bit, are you a double dipper?
100%. It's unacceptable. I'm going to tell you why. Because what happens is somebody watches you and they turn their head for a second and they don't see you do the turn of the carrot, and they just see you go back in for it and they go, oh my God, that person's disgusting. And then they avoid the hummus because they don't know that you did the slight turn. So you're turning people off even though you think you're doing the right thing. That's my take.
I appreciate it. You're not wrong. Yeah, it's a little too hard to track. There's an attribution problem
There is
with the double dipping of the carrot.
There's
All right, let's get
an
back.
attribution problem. It's not last touch attribution. That's the thing.
You can only have first touch carrot attribution.
Exactly
All right.
right.
So let's get back into emails and newsletters. You got to have a newsletter, and then eventually you're going to put in some sales shtick every once in a while. Once you get people attuned into following a newsletter, you got to have some humanities. What makes it good? You got a personal section in there. Talk to me a little bit about subject lines. Nobody's opening without your subject line. What makes it good?
Everybody has it backwards in the world when it comes to email. They spend all this time, oh, I got the greatest newsletter, I've got the greatest promotional offer, whatever, legal approved it, the links are working, whatever. And then that comes to the subject line, oh yeah, what should we make the subject line? They spend 3 seconds, which is ridiculous, because if the email doesn't get opened, who actually cares what's in your email? Now, what should you put in your subject line? Everyone's like, how many characters should it be? Should it be less than this? Nah, that's irrelevant. Here's the story. Nobody actually reads the whole subject line. They don't. You could write Jay's a big loser at the end of your subject line. Nobody would see it because nobody reads the whole thing. What we do is we look at the first few characters, and that's how we decide whether or not we want to go further. So literally, what you put as the first few characters will change everything. An example. If you put a number to start your subject line, the 3 pitfalls to avoid, the 7 things small business owners need to know, the 3 hottest fashion trends for the summer, you literally start with a number, your increase in open rate goes up by about 20% than if you don't. Why? Stands out a little bit when you're doing that social scroll in your inbox, right? It's authoritative, but you get out of it, numbers a win. Start your subject line with 1 to 2 capitalized words. The word new, each letter is capitalized, N-E-W, or just in, colon. They're all capitalized, whether it's a business or a consumer offer. Again, that makes you stop for a second. You see it, and then you read the rest. Emojis work great at the start of your subject line, right? What you don't want to do is start your subject line with something that's epically boring, that's a boat anchor. So what do a lot of marketers do? Let's say you have a webinar you're promoting. They will literally write the word webinar, colon, and then they'll say what it's about. Why don't you write boring, colon, right? In general, you don't want to be promoting the vehicle. You don't want to be promoting webinar, ebook. No, it's not the vehicle. It's the topic, right? It's the 7 things you need to know, the 3 most important things, blah, blah, blah. It's not the vehicle. And that's where we lose people. Or you write the word reminder to start your subject line. That's like a vomit. All right. So think about the start of your subject line and not just the whole thing. And the other thing you could do also that works so well, which we've been testing this a lot, brackets. Love brackets at the start of your subject line. If consumer or business offer, right? You put right in there, again, just in or just released, and you put it in brackets, crushes it. And no, nothing you're putting in the subject line, doesn't matter if it's a business or a consumer offer, is the reason you're going to the junk folder or spam folder. About 20% of all email, doesn't matter if you're a Salesforce, the NFL, Amazon, Apple, will go to the junk folder or spam folder. And it's not because you put the word free or use an exclamation mark or anything like that. That's information from 1985. And then the last thing is the promotions tab is a good place to go, not a bad place to go, and stop trying to get out of it or even worry about it. I know that's a lot. I'm all over it.
It was good. But I want to hear more about the last one, the promotion tab. It seems like a horrible place to me. It's who opts in to be like, you know what, I feel like I want to get sold to. Somebody quick, tell me all the offers. Who goes to the promotion tab?
The promotion tab is a wonderful place, and I'll tell you why. So first off, in the Gmail environment, less than 25% of Gmail users actually activate the promotions tab. And for listeners that don't know, in Gmail, there's these different tabs. If you activate them, all of the promotional offers will go into this tab called promotions tab. Less than 25% of Gmail users actually activate it. Now, here's the thing that people don't know. First of all, the promotions tab is part of your inbox. It's not the junk folder. It's actually part of your inbox. Okay. So if you go in the promotions tab, you're in the inbox. But the kicker is, which people don't realize, on average, people that have their promotions tab activated, 50% of them check it every day. Okay. Now, let that sink in for a second. What does that mean? When you go to the mall, okay, you're in buying mode. You're not like lost. You're like, I'm in the mall. I'm going to buy something. When you go to the promotions tab in your Gmail inbox, okay, you're not lost. You're not like, what am I doing here? Why did I click on this? You're actually looking for stuff. You're looking for webinar offers, discounts on socks, whatever you want. 50% of those people are going in there every day looking for the thing. They're in that mall. So you don't want to get out of it. And we have seen no performance drop for emails that go in the promotions tab versus those that don't. So everyone's got to chill.
I don't disagree about the chill part. I do need your help wrapping my brain around all of what you've just said. So let's package this up
Yeah.
neatly.
Yes.
If you had to give me the only, ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
3 tips that every marketer needs to start doing today, right now, to improve their email marketing performance, what are your 3 tips?
Okay. I'm going to give 3 tips that anybody could do on any platform that costs no money and take less than 5 minutes. Number 1, do not send your emails out on the hour. Here's what everybody does. You go into your email system and you go, all right, let's get this email out at 9 a.m., at 5 a.m., at 2 p.m. No one ever goes in there and says, set it up for 2:17, 11:12, 10:19. You do not want to send your emails out on the hour because all promotional email lands in those first 10 minutes. When you don't send it out on the hour, instantly your emails show up with all the real emails and your actual open rates go up by just doing that one little thing, which is ridiculous. Okay. Now, your subject line, you want to be testing everything I just said. And you also want to be testing things like a question subject line. Okay. Or ending your subject line with 3 dots. The 4 things you need to know, dot. You need to have 5 to 6 of these crazy things that I mentioned in your quiver and be rotating them all the time. You do not want to allow confirmation bias to set in where, oh my God, that works so well with the question mark. Every subject line we send out has to be a question. That's when it becomes wallpaper. And then the third one that I would think about is now they've opened up the email. Great. They're thinking about clicking through. You have your call to action button. You have that long rectangular button inside your email. Everyone just doesn't think about it. But believe it or not, if you write your call to action button, the rectangular button, if you write it in first person, you will see your click-through rates rise. Your click-through rates rise by over 25%. What do I mean? So let's say you were promoting that webinar. Everybody always writes what word? Register. Okay. Register is for me, the sender. It's not for you, the recipient. But what sounds better? Register versus I want in. Register versus save my spot. When you write in first person, it gets the person a little bit more excited. Or if it's a consumer offer, right? Is it buy now or get my 25% off now? Right? When you write it in first person, your click-through rates rise. Every little thing matters in email. There's no one thing that you're going to do. It's a series of little things. So when someone says email doesn't work for them, it's because they're not paying attention to the detail.
That was good.
Hey.
That was good. Hey, you've done this before.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate you.